Hello everyone, it's Brett here, Lionheart84. Now, I think I probably mentioned to you a week or two back when I cut back my very dead looking bottle brush. As you can see, that's my Calistemon. I probably said at the same time that I'm probably going to trim this, one of my pineapple guavas, back quite hard. This one is my Triumph. It's got quite leggy and spindly and sort of hanging from the border out over my grass area, and that's partly because it was so heavily swamped by the bottle brush that it means it hasn't had any growth lower down. Now, the correct time as far as I'm concerned to trim these back in the UK is probably about in March, before it warms up too much, and with the worst of the cold weather past. We could get some frost still, but the plant is still completely dormant. There's no signs of any new growth or buds on it, so it's a particularly good time to take it back, because it will inspire it or encourage it to bush out a little bit more further back on the plant. I'm not going to go berserk and take it right back to here, but if I give it a light pruning, there is a possibility that it might still flower this year, but obviously it would be later, so that would affect the fruiting. These branches in here are very, very sparse, as you can see, and bare. So all I'm really going to do is just take the tips off these like this, and what that will hopefully do is encourage a little bit more of these. If I just take the tips off, I'll show you what I'm doing. Left-handed, not the best way for me to be pruning, but if I take these tips off here, it should encourage a little bit more branching out here. So what I'm going to do is I'll stop the camera for the moment, do some pruning, and then come back to it so you can see what I've done. Right, we've finished pruning it now, so I'm hoping you can see that I've taken off most of the lower growth that was hanging right out onto the lawn, because it was sort of too low down, and I've probably taken up to a foot off a lot of the other branches, and where it was sticking right out I've taken most of that back. I've left a few tips because they should get a few flowers on them, so I've left some of these growth tips here, but most of these other shoots I've taken a fair bit off in the hope that it encourages it to branch out a little bit lower down. You can cut these back really, really radically. I mean, I could go much harder on this if I wanted to and rejuvenate the whole bush, but I don't see there's any need to go too mad on it. But basically we'll wait and see what happens. We should know by about May how well it's shooting. I would expect to see a lot of new growth on it, and quite likely we will still see flowers, but they may be sort of later into July rather than late June, early July, which is ideally what you want because of the time it takes the fruits to develop. But I'm sure we'll still see a handful of fruits on this year, but as my other one will probably fruit reasonably well. I'm not too worried. It's just a case of keeping the plant under control and hopefully making it bush out a little bit better lower down. It's just, for whatever reason, has grown in this leaning direction, which you can't do much about. So that's my pineapple guava of the variety Triumph, also known as feijoa, of course, in lots of countries. Thought that might interest people who like to see the spring maintenance I do on them to keep them under control. Thanks for watching the video. Please give me a thumbs up. You can obviously subscribe to my channel. You're welcome to share the video if you think it might be useful to anyone who wants to know about how I trim my particular pineapple guavas. And remember to click on the bell if you like updates on new videos when they come out, which will of course hopefully include new growth on this in probably 2 to 3 months time. Catch up with you all soon. Brett out for now.